All right, good afternoon. This is Scott Francis again. Welcome back to the Outdoor Ed series. What we're going to cover today is clothing that you're going to need when you're outdoors, specifically during hunting season. And the big thing to understand when you're doing any type of situation like this, when you're out in the wild, when you're hunting or camping or hiking or whatever you're doing, make sure you're properly prepared. And the big thing to remember is that cotton kills. It does not wick the water away from your body. It holds it. It will get cold. It'll freeze. And unfortunately, if you're in that type of situation, you're going to end up being a candidate for hypothermia. And that's something that we definitely do not want to have happen. So when you're out doing this, you got to remember there's three basic layers that you need when you're doing this. And the first one is your base layer, which is going to be right next to your skin, which is going to give you a little bit of insulation. It's also going to be wicking material. What we have today here are the modern manufactured materials. This is like the Under Armour material, both top and bottom, rated about 3. Works really well to help to wick the sweat away from you when you're hiking and working. It'll help keep you dry. There's some of this at different thicknesses and weights depending on the time of the year. Even late summer, it's nice to have that wicking layer also. If you happen to get a breeze, you don't want to end up getting cold. So I'm going to divide this up. I'm going to do the manufactured polyesters, your polypropylene type materials first, and then we're going to go more to the traditional wool type blends. So you have your base layer. Then the next thing you're going to have is the next layer that goes over the top that's going to be kind of your insulator. You have a couple different examples of this material. This is Sitka gear. Can go on. It is really nice, good layers. Again, the best thing to do is when you're doing this is dress in layers. So you'd wear your base layer, then you could put these 2 layers on top to provide some insulation. And then you would put on your pants, just like this, which are again out of the polyester, polypropylene material. Again, this is what this example using Sitka gear is, that you would be set up. Then after you have that done, then what you could do is go on to a next layer like this, which is your outer layer, which is this is a vest. Obviously it has pile lining inside, and then it has the fleece type material on the outside. This is the vest. There's a set of bibs that go with this also that are the same type of material that will be used. That's going to be more your outer garment to help to keep you warm. A little bit further on with this is this material right here, which is the actual coat, which would be your outer layer to give you the windbreaker, the waterproofing, that type of situation. Here is a really good example of that. Has a hood to put your back to the wind to help you stay warm. Another example right here are the bottoms. Basically the same set where you could use these, put a base layer and a light pair of pants on underneath, and you would stay very warm, help you to stay dry as well. Some other examples that you can use here is this blaze orange fleece vest that would meet the 400 square inches required by the state of Montana through FWP for their requirement during big game season. You have that. Here's another polyester, polypropylene type sweatshirt that is another manufactured type material that would work really well to help you to stay warm. Some other things that could be used as well is this beanie, which is for ladies, is made of that material. They also make gloves and mittens that you can wear during various seasons to be able to use those to keep your hands warm during both of your different hunting seasons, whether it's archery or if it's during rifle or whatever type of season, muzzle loading, whatever you choose to be doing. So those are the manufactured materials that are used, covering the basic requirements for staying warm. Now, going with the more traditional part is your wool blends. This is dual fold long underwear, which is a great base layer. It has a wicking layer inside there, a little bit of polyester blend to pull that away from your body, and then the wool blend will help to insulate you and help you to stay warm. Then what I always wear is a light wool shirt that will go over the top of that, which gives me a little bit more insulating. And then depending on the time of the year, if I need, I will wear a wool vest and then a wool jacket of this type, one of the old-fashioned Mackinac type coats. Again, it's great to wear. It will breathe and it helps you to stay warm. And the nice thing about wool is if you do get it wet, it will breathe and actually wick the water away from you, and it'll help you to stay a lot warmer. Then what I also use is a pair of wool pants like this. The nice thing about these pants, one of the features of these is they have knee pads put right into them to protect your knees. These wick the water away. They're very warm. They're not necessarily waterproof, but they sure help you if you're sitting around in really, really cold temperatures. You can sit there for a long, long time and stay really warm. The other thing we have right here is another over jacket that we'll have that I use that's hooded. It adds that wind barrier for me. And then what I have on this one is, again, this blaze orange vest to give me the required 400 square inches that I need when I'm out big game hunting in Montana. As we're getting set up here to move on to the last part, one thing that if you do travel out of state hunting, you want to make sure and find out what the regulations are for the state that you are going to, what they require for blaze orange during each of the seasons. Now, some other things that you'll want to have, obviously, is some type of hat. What I wear is just a regular old wool Scotch cap that has a bill on it to shade my eyes. You may decide you want to just wear a regular stocking hat that will give you ability that you can wear a little bit different type of hood. Doesn't give you any interference if you are archery hunting. You don't have to worry about the bill getting in the way. I like to have a silk scarf, or what they call a wild rag. I'll wear one of these. It helps to keep my neck warm, and it seems if I do that, then I really stay warm and I don't get cold. That's kind of amazing. When you have, also you need to make sure you have good wool blend socks, or what I prefer, you can use other manufactured socks, but I have the preference of wearing wool blend. I like them to go way up almost to my knees to support my calves and everything, but that's again going to be something that you'll have to go through and do and make that of your own choosing. Next thing is gloves. What I will carry with me is I carry a minimum of 3 pairs of gloves with me. That's just a standard practice, and I'll probably have like this bunch right here with me. First pair is just a Thinsulate lined pair of wool mitten glove combination. They work really well if you're using your rangefinder or your binoculars, or if you're actually going to shoot, you can free up your fingers and be able to do that. Here's a nice Thinsulate lined pair of hunting gloves that work really quite well. And then I like to have a set of leather gloves with me in case I have to do something to protect my hands, make sure they don't get cut. I'll have those available. And then the other type that I will have is just a Handy Andy or Wells Lamont, just the chore gloves. It's really nice. You can use these when you're field dressing an animal or if you're skinning it. Lots of various things. It'll help protect your hands. The only bummer about these is once they get wet, you're kind of out of luck. You have to do something to make sure that you get them dried out. And then another great thing to have is just a good pair of wool lined leather mittens. Nothing better to keep your hands warm than a pair of mittens. And then another item that I would recommend that you look at is a set of gaiters. These actually go right on your boot heel. You just strap them on like that. They'll help to protect your bottom part of your pants, keep you dry, and it's amazing if you can keep that lower leg dry. It's amazing how much warmer you will stay, and then you're not going to end up having difficulty getting out of your hunting clothes. You won't ruin a zipper or something on there if you protect those. So the one thing that we want to go through here lastly is the foot gear that you're going to use as you're going, the different types of footwear. As I set these up here, the big thing that I want you to remember is no matter what you decide to use, whether it's leather-based type boots like these or the actual manufactured or other type, make sure they fit your feet, they're broken in, and that they are comfortable. And you need to make sure that you're doing that before the hunting season starts or before you go on your hike or your backpacking trip or whatever. It's a bummer thing to have to try to go through and break in those shoes before you go. So this pair of boots right here is a set of Danners. They are leather lined. They have Thinsulate 400 gram in it. They're a early season for hunting. I'll actually wear these all year around if I'm doing a lot of walking. They're broke in, they support my ankles. I can tie them up to keep my ankles supported if I'm going through there, especially if I'm going through a big rock outcropping. They'll help to protect my feet and I won't have any danger of cutting the material. This pair of boots right here has 1,000 grams of Thinsulate in there, a little bit taller top, goes through. I can cinch these down and lace them up to protect my ankles, especially if I'm walking in the mountains and on a side hill. I don't have to worry about my ankles falling over and spraining my ankles. Again, the other thing that we want to do on both of these is to make sure that we properly take care of them with some type of grease or mink oil or something like that to keep that leather in good condition. And then the last type of boot here is just the felt lined pack boot. These are whites. I like them because they have a tall top on them. The uppers are tall. They have a good support in them. They are a little bit heavy and it's kind of difficult to walk a long distance in them. But if you're sitting in a deer stand or just sitting down on the ground trying to wait for an animal to come out, or if you go ice fishing, these will help keep your feet really, really warm. Again, you want to take care of both the uppers and the bottom down here.